Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro is joining us now. He's also the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So just your initial thoughts on what you saw this evening.
Well, you know, the president came into the chamber under a cloud of impeachment, one of a few presidents in American history to actually be impeached in that very chamber in the House of Representatives. And what you basically saw was the president using division again, telling a lot of lies. One of the big lies he told was about protecting patients with pre-existing conditions, when, as you all mentioned, the administration has gone to court to strike down the Affordable Care Act. If that happens, then people with pre-existing conditions aren't protected at all. And so, you know, there certainly were some moments that were uplifting for the American people. The reunion of the soldier with his family, the honoring of a Tuskegee Airman, for example. And so there were some uplifting moments, but the president undercuts himself when he goes and fearmongers using brown immigrants to scare Americans, when he lies about health care, all of these things. And so all in all, it was pretty much more of the same from Donald Trump.
You talk about the president undercutting himself. I wonder what your thoughts are on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tearing up the paper with the president's address.
Yeah, you know, I didn't see it myself, but I was told that after the speech was over, I guess she tore up the speech. I think that it gets very frustrating. I know that it gets very frustrating for legislators to sit there year after year and listen to a president who has literally, since he took office, lied 10,000 times. 10,000 times he's lied on subjects across the board. And she was probably showing some of that frustration.
Did that undercut, though, Governor Whitmer's response?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that gesture, though, which was quite visible for all to see on live television, that gesture of the House Speaker tearing up the president's State of the Union address, overshadowed or undercut in any way Governor Whitmer's Democratic response?
I'm sure that it's gotten a lot of attention, but I don't think that it undercuts the response and the substance of that response and laying out Democrats' vision for the future of the country and for creating opportunity for all Americans.
The president spoke about providing health care for undocumented immigrants. Let's listen to what he said.
Over 130 legislators in this chamber have endorsed legislation that would bankrupt our nation by providing free taxpayer-funded health care to millions of illegal aliens, forcing taxpayers to subsidize free care for anyone in the world who unlawfully crosses our borders.
He spoke about California being a sanctuary state, Congressman. What's your response to that?
That this is what the president does over and over again. He uses brown immigrants to try to scare Americans. He talked about immigrants killing Americans, committing crimes, when in fact this is a nation of immigrants where people from all over the world, including Latin America, have helped build this country. The fact that those folks are the exception to the rule of a lot of great people, hardworking people, earnest people who come here and are part of this country. And many of the folks that he's describing, you know, are actually asylum seekers, separate and apart from immigrants who have come to this country over the years. These are people that are fleeing very desperate and violent places. And so, again, it was the president trying to appeal to a primary base rather than bringing the country together.
The president, as you know, spent a bit of time touting the U.S. economy. What's your sense of whether or not Democrats should be paying more attention to that issue?
Well, I think it's an issue that we've always paid attention to. We want to see Americans do well. They were doing well under President Barack Obama. Fortunately, the economy has in many ways kept up. But remember, this is also a president and President Trump who shepherded a tax bill that gave benefits to the very wealthy, the very elite in this country, that's contributed to the greatest income inequality that we've seen in this country for generations. The fact is that you have a lot of Americans that have a job but are still struggling to make ends meet. And so just because the unemployment levels are low, which is a good thing, and we should all celebrate that, And because the stock market is high doesn't mean that the challenges of the economy and the challenges that American families face automatically go away.
I want to turn quickly to the 2020 race. Both you and your brother, former 2020 presidential candidate Julian Castro, are backing Senator Elizabeth Warren in the race. Why not support former Vice President Joe Biden, considering your brother served in the Obama administration as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development?
Yeah, listen, the Democratic Party has a wealth of great candidates. Once upon a time, there were 25 candidates that were running. We've still got some great folks that are running. We believe that Senator Warren is the person that provides the most inspiration for the country, that will help bring the party and the country together.
And lastly, the campaign arm of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus has met with several 2020 presidential candidates in recent days and weeks. Is the caucus close to making an endorsement?
You know, the caucus has the official policy part, which I'm chair of, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and then it's got a separate part, which is known as Bold PAC. And so that's separate and apart from the official CHC. I'm not sure what Bold PAC is going to do. I don't think that there's going to be endorsements soon, but Representative Cardenas from California, Tony Cardenas, is in charge of Bold PAC.
All right, Congressman Joaquin Castro, thank you so much, Congressman, for your time.
Thank you.